Hey y'all, welcome back to Spirit of the Outdoors. I've had some thoughts on my mind as I look at everything going on in the world right now. Especially as you watch different YouTube videos and different channels and everything that is going on, people's opinions on it and everything. The one thing that I see constantly come up is that everybody's waiting on this moment to know that, okay, it's got bad. Okay, it's time to kick in preparedness mode, or it's started, or like we're going to wake up one morning and somebody's going to make an announcement. Okay, the thing you've prepped for has started. We're going to call in to work one morning. They're going to say, oh, don't come in today. You can stay home and kick your plan into motion. Y'all, it ain't going to happen that way. It's already started. And if you're hearing a racket, that's this whirly bird thing. I made an airplane for Brody some years back, and it got knocked down up there at the house. The stick, I had it on righted, and I mounted it up here. And wind is blowing, and it makes a lot of racket. Maybe it ain't bothering y'all too bad. But people are waiting on whatever they're preparing for to start, and it's already started. I mentioned in a previous video that rice was already expensive. Well, now olive oil, a lot of the stuff that is imported from Israel and even other nations right there immediate is fixing to go out of sight. It's limited supply. Not only that, but when you live in a city, it's hard for you to see firsthand what is going on and cause and effect to things of the world. Not knocking those people, I'm just saying you're not looking at it firsthand, so you having to wait for somebody to tell you. Well, it's very, very dry in Mississippi. Not only in Mississippi, but in a huge amount of the surrounding states. A lot of farmland. And crops are not producing. If you follow this channel very long, you know that last year we grew pumpkins, and we grew a lot of pumpkins. I had 2 trailer loads that we sold. I made over $900 selling pumpkins dirt cheap. I was not marking them up, selling them for $30 a pumpkin. I'm talking about I was selling giant pumpkins for $10, $15, stuff like that. I sold a lot of average size pumpkins for $3 a piece. I mean, I was just trying to get rid of pumpkins so they didn't rot. So this year we planted a lot of pumpkins. We planted a lot of extra ones. I ordered from Hoss Seeds some different seeds that I didn't have, and we planted them. And y'all, we got just enough pumpkins this year to put on our front porch. There's probably 10 pumpkins, and that was it. I planted 6 rows down there. I'm talking about 650 foot to 200 foot rows of pumpkins. I should have had pumpkins running out my ears, y'all, but they didn't make it. It is so dry. What does that mean to you? Well, peanuts. I looked for peanuts for the boil that we had for my Spirit of the Outdoors stew and festival. We had some bluegrass music and stuff, and I had to hunt everywhere to find peanuts, and it's because the crops are not producing. So what you find is expensive. Not to mention last year here in the deep south, all the fruit that is produced in this part of the country is very scarce. Apples, peaches. Now, a lot of that stuff that is produced in the northern states, produced the same, made good, it's okay. But a lot of the crop from the southern part of the United States, we had a very late freeze. There was no fruit. I mean, hardly not any fruit. We had blueberries here, but the apples made so-so. No figs. All the fig trees died. Not a lot of muscadines. There were some muscadines. That was about the only thing we had that made it. There was no peaches. There was no plums. There was no all this stuff. So it's not only that, but any of the fruit like peaches and stuff that people sell, the orchards, they lost. So what that means to you is when you try to go to the grocery store and buy it, it's going to cost you about twice what it normally did. And y'all, that is things that you have no control over. And what people don't realize is what you've been preparing for, whether you believe it or not, and a lot of people don't believe in religious things, but God is in control of this world. And when he put in Revelations, he said in the last days, perilous times shall come. And there's a whole list, several different books of the Bible mention it, in Timothy and different ones. And even in Revelations, whether you believe that the rapture is going to happen pre-tribulation, whatever, we don't know when we're leaving. Anybody that sits down and reads Revelations and says we're leaving at this point in time does not know. Because we do not know. We can look at the Bible, but you can take the scripture and justify it in several different time periods. There's just no factual way of knowing. Anything anybody says is a guess. They can believe it very strongly, but they do not know. I ain't saying that they may be wrong. They may in fact be right, but it's still a guess. We have to prepare for the worst case scenario. That way, if we are here, that we're prepared. And I'm seeing it already started. We think that we're going to wake up this one morning and everything is just like the power's going to be off and I mean, people's just going to be in a panic and you know, at some point something like that may could happen, but when it's such a slow, gradual thing that is just keeps getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse, it's happening without you even realizing it. Groceries is hard to get. What I used to could have went to the grocery store 3 or 4 years ago and spent $100 and fed my family for a couple of weeks. $400 won't feed them. Now, yes, I can go and scrounge and take $200 and eat for a couple of weeks, but I am helping that by growing crops, putting up stuff that I grew. Well, you think, a lot of us that garden and any prepper, just say prepping, okay? Prepping is, and let me explain what I consider prepping so that we're on the same page. And everybody has a different terminology. That's okay. I'm not saying somebody else is wrong. I'm going to just tell you what it is to me. It's preparing for what is to come. A lot of people view it as just putting up canned goods and buying stuff and storing it. I'm not against that. That's what you want to do. My philosophy is it don't matter how much stuff you put up, you're going to run out at some point. Because you're going to have to give some of it away if you care anything at all about anybody. To me, the idea is to see what I can reproduce over and over and over. I don't have to worry about somebody coming in to steal everything I've got if I don't have hordes of it. If I can just constantly reproduce and grow and hunt. The problem is that's going to get twice as difficult as it is right now. I've mentioned this in several other videos. The hunting is going to be scarce because there's going to be so many other people trying to hunt because they can't go to the grocery store. But then when you take dry times like it is right now, well, turnip greens are not growing very well. Late crops are not doing anything. Well, when you can't grow stuff because of the weather and the climate and whatever, call it climate change, call it evolution, call it, just call it that God is whatever. It's still happening. Regardless of what the cause of the climate changing, it is changing. Anybody with a little bit of common sense can look around and say things is different. They are. Whether you believe that's from your gas car or rockets they shooting through the atmosphere or airplanes flying around or whatever, you can call it the cause. Me personally, I think it's just a global cycle that God put into motion and we're here to ride the ride. But that's my opinion. That don't make me right, but it also don't make me wrong either. when it's hard to grow a crop out here, what are you going to do? I mean, when you plant stuff and there's pestilence, Bible says in the last days there shall be pestilence. It's in the Bible. And I'm giving you scripture because, and the reason I'm doing this is because a lot of biblical people say, I don't believe in all that stuff. You know, I believe we're going to be raptured out before everything gets bad. If that was the case, why would God have allowed John to warn us all about it? Why would we have been told that things are going to get bad in the last days? In the end times, it's going to get tough. Why warn somebody if they're not going to be here to see it? You know? If it's to punish a people that is bad and the good people's going to be gone, well, they're not even going to know, they're not going to see the warning no way. We're going to experience some of it. Maybe all of it. Who knows? So how do you know when it started? You know, that's the question today. Well, I'm here to tell you it's already started. When your dollar don't go as far as it used to, it started. You have no control over your light bill. I mean, they tell you owe this much. You say, oh yeah, I got control. I can cut this off and that off. Sure you can. But when what you use costs more than what you used to use, I mean, it's just going up in general, you have no control over it. There's no competitive mart on it. And you're going to pay whatever they tell you. It ain't like, well, I'm going to start getting my power from another company. I mean, you can obviously go solar. Here's the problem with that. You're still buying a lot of batteries. You're still buying a lot of stuff that you're going to have to buy at some point. Yes, they will last you a very long time, especially if you go lithium batteries. I'm not against solar power. If you can do that, by all means, go for it. I mean, anything you can do to help you, it will help you. In the long run, I mean, it will last you a good long while. It'll sustain you for a while. But at some point, if things don't get better, and I'll tell you this, I don't think we're going to wake up one morning and they're going to turn the internet off or they're going to turn the power off. I've watched videos where they say there's an EMP they're going to set off in the atmosphere that Russia and China is together and they could shut our power grid down for a year. Some of y'all have probably seen the video. Whether I believe it or not, I really hadn't made my mind up. I don't jump on a bandwagon of believing everything that I hear right off the bat. I'm not saying it ain't possible or that it ain't there. It could very well be there. I'm not telling you it's not. But I'm just saying there's a lot of possibilities that even if they do just cut the power off one day, most likely if they don't, things are just going to get so expensive that you can't afford to buy it. And that gap between the poor people and the rich and the elite is going to widen. And all the middle people that thought they were middle, common man, and this is the people that have an average, a little above average means. We make a decent living and we support ourselves. We're not rich, but I got a couple of $100,000 in the bank, and it's not going to be long till you're going to be back here with the poor people, because you're going to be done spend all your money. All it takes is one medical bill, one doctor's visit. And every dime you've got in the checking account could be disappearing at a high rate of speed. Because if you've got money, they'll get it. All they got to do is write down and say, you owe this. What are you going to do? There's a lot of programs that help people. So you need to know that we're already in this, y'all. Things has already started. Crops is not producing. Groceries is steadily going up. They are fixing to go up even more. I mean, all the stuff that's coming out of Israel, olive oil, that's where most of your olive oil and stuff kind of comes from. Not all of it, but a large part of it comes from that country. That's where they grow a lot of olive trees. What you gonna do when you can't get it? I mean, we got vegetable oil, corn oil, and canola oil, stuff from here, peanut oil. I just told you the peanuts didn't produce very well. What happens when you can't get oil to cook with? You know, I mean, when your basic necessities get tough to get, and you can't buy sugar, you can't buy flour, you can't buy meal. That's your bread making things. What are you gonna eat? I mean, beef has already went up. Well, hay is getting scarce again. Hard to feed cows. Takes it about a year for it to cycle around. Well, they went through this last year. Now we're fixing to hit it again this year, even worse. Beef is going to go out of sight. You can count it. I remember you could go to a fast food restaurant and for $6 you could eat a meal. Now you can't eat a meal at a fast food restaurant for $13. Give it a couple of years and $20, you can't eat, one person can't eat a meal at a fast food restaurant. You mark my word. Well, your pay ain't going up no whole lot. What you work for and the money that you've got coming in is not going up. So how do you prepare for this? What do you do? You better be thinking about it. I mean, because a lot of people want to sit down and say, well, there's one solution. Everybody do this. Do you need to store up some stuff in a pantry? Well, absolutely. I mean, buy canned good, yeah. I mean, that's not the only way. You need to be able to grow and do everything you can. But here, the people that are going to excel are going to be the people that are flexible. The people that says, okay, well, I can adapt to this. Or, okay, well, I need to do this. Now I can adjust to this. You're going to be able to make everything that you can make. I mean, you're going to have to be able to fix everything that you can fix. All of that. And it's not going to be easy. The more stuff that you know how to do, the better off you're going to be. You take this knife, I made this. But without electricity, I can't make a whole lot of knives. I've got a forge that's got a hand crank blower I can put back on it. I've got an electric blower on it right now. But I can put the hand crank blower back on there. But with a file, I could make another knife without any power. I am set up to do that. But not nearby. It would take me way longer. But you need to be able to do as much as you can and have the tools to do as much as you can. You need the knowledge. If there's things you don't know, you need to have some books stored back in a bookshelf that tell you how to make this and how to make that. That is why I'm learning a lot of the older ways of things. Is it going to be a foolproof? Absolutely not. I mean, you could do all the prepping and everything, and things could happen in such a way that none of it matters, you know? We're not in control here. We need to be as in control of what we can be, I think. Learn how to grow as much as you can, have as much seed as you can have, but with no water, I mean, how long are you going to water with a water hose? If it gets to where you can't go to work and pay a water bill, I mean, with a well, you're going to dip enough water. I promise you right now, with a well, you can't dip enough water hardly to water a garden and really make it grow and produce fruit. You can keep some turnip greens and stuff alive. The leaf vegetables you can kind of do. But to take a crop and make something sustainable for your family, it's hard to do that, watering it. Especially in hard times when the groundwater's dropping way down here. I haven't been down there to look at my well to see exactly how much water is in it, but I can promise you the water's way down toward the bottom. And it wouldn't take me long to empty that little old well out. It's not that big of a well. You draw the water up by hand. I wanted something I could get water without a pump or electric, anything. It's primitive. So anyway, I just wanted to share some thoughts with you. I just get concerned about everybody that said, well, you know, I'm prepared for what's to come. Well, what's to come is here. It's just happening so slow. You hadn't recognized it yet. And it's going to gradually get worse and worse and worse. I think you need to keep a positive outlook, however you want to say that. And say, you know, things is going to be all right. I'm going to be all right. You need to have faith in yourself. But you need to have a reason to have faith in yourself. You need to have faith in yourself because you're learning. You're trying. And I think most of the people that actually watch this channel on a regular basis are doing those things. I don't push, you know, just going and buying hordes of canned goods and putting it up. I don't have anything against that by any means. I mean, we can some stuff. We try to can a lot of our own stuff. I'm fixing to get started canning some of these mustard greens and stuff before the bugs start eating those down there that are getting bigger. I'm about to cut all them down and cook them and then probably can them and not let anything go to waste if I can help it. But this year, I mean, even in my garden, I grew through the good time that it was raining a lot and it got dry later in the gardening season. But we produced a lot of tomatoes, but I had stuff that happened. A lot of them quit producing. Some of the plants got disease, died, bugs got in there and eat some stuff. I mean, some of it just didn't, my snap beans, they didn't produce like they have in the past. I mean, a lot of stuff didn't do as it should have done. I probably could have run a water system constantly and made it produce. Would have been all right, but I didn't. I don't really like to just water because run your water bill up. At some point, you better off just go buy stuff. But now, when it gets to the point that you can't go buy stuff, you're going to have to buy some water. So anyway, today we just talking about what was to come. That is a sharp knife, y'all. Keep your head up. You'll be all right if you'll keep your wits about you. But it's already getting tough. You're watching businesses drop like flies. I mean, every time I turn around, there's another business going out. Small businesses just can't hardly make it. The only way I'm running a pottery business is because I have no expense other than electricity. We run electric keels and then we buy our clay supplies. And our supplies, like our glazes and stuff to put on our pottery, steadily going up. The only way that if I had 2 vehicle notes and a house note and all the insurance that went with that, I couldn't make it. I really couldn't. I'm fortunate and blessed to have my home paid for, my land paid for, 1 vehicle paid for. Actually, we've got 2 vehicles paid for. My buggy that everybody complains about me having so much has been paid for. I just last night ordered nearly $500 worth of parts to try to put the front end back together, like completely. Everything. I have not ever fixed everything in it. I think that's why I can't keep it together. So you got to be able to fix all your own stuff. If I carried it to a dealership and said, hey, fix all this, I promise you I'd have a $2,000 bill at least on that time. They put the time and labor and all that. I had to order a steering sector, whole steering sector, to get the linkage straightened out in the slack in the front end. I mean, it's horrible. 7,000 miles on it. A little over 7,000. Steering sector. Front wheel bearings, I just replaced them last year, but I put them bigger tires on there, and I've got to get them back off. I do not like them. I bought them for the wheels. I'm going to put truck tires on it, is what I want. That's why I wanted the 14-inch wheels. So I ordered wheel bearings, steering sector, front A-arm, actually all the A-arm bushings, whole buggy. We're going to replace all of it. Snaps or circular snaps for the axles to hold them in. All the a front yoke to go on the front differential for the prop shaft. It's the front drive shaft, but it's called a prop shaft. Both joints, front and back. I'm trying to think of what else. And people look and they go, well, you got that nice buggy. It's wow. It was used actually when I got it, and it's a lot of money to just keep it up, but I don't have a payment on it. And I use it, honest to God, y'all. We run that more than we run any vehicle that we've got. We use it working on this place, use it hunting. I use it going to the swamp to fish, hunt, film videos. We use it hauling pottery back and forth because we've got a kiln over at my dad's shop. We use it in all the gardening, chickens. I mean, everything we do. I run that thing more than I do any other vehicle here. My truck liable to sit 2 weeks and it don't even get cranked up. We run it buggy, but there's maintenance on that stuff. You know, at some point that's going to be useless. I mean, if it does get to where you can't buy fuel and things, it could get really, really tough. And I feel like we will see it get tough before it's said and done. At what point does this happen? I don't know. I mean, I don't know exactly what is going to take place. But I do know that it's already started. People keep waiting to say, well, you know, when's this going to happen? Or what's coming? What's coming's here, y'all. It's just happening slow enough that you're getting really used to it. Better open your eyes and look around and see what kind of shape you're in and what the future holds. When things get more expensive than they are you going to be able to sustain the lifestyle that you're already living? When groceries go up some more, and they are, they may not double within a couple of years, but I guarantee they go up 25%. Maybe more. And they may double. I don't know. Fuel's going to go up some more. I mean, when there's unrest in nations and there's war, and we're going to wind up involved in it before it's said and done. It's just about a guaranteed thing. Whether we get attacked here, everybody keeps saying we're going to get attacked. Very possible. There's no way I can say yes or no to that. But we need to be ready to take care of ourselves. Fend for you and your family. The next thing is you got the elderly in your family that you got to take care of them. They're going to get cold this winter. If you can't put gas in a gas tank or buy electricity for heat or whatever, you got to keep them warm. Anyway, keep your head up, keep it on a swivel. Keep your wits about you. Pay attention and you'll be all right. It ain't nothing to be afraid of if you take a few extra precautions. You better buy what you can buy to have, probably. At least the basics. I'm not for just stocking a room's full, but I'm gonna have me an extra sack of flour or two. Sure hate to know I couldn't make biscuits. Anyway, till next time, remember the best way to do things is the way you like to do it. We'll see y'all.